What types of psychology research have been most useful in your strategy work?
I'm not actually sure if I could say there was any one area that I haven't found use for on some level. I have a background as an undergraduate studying decision making and uncertainty. And so you think of people like Kahneman, Herbert, Amos Tversky's are my heroes. They were from my undergraduate, and they will probably always be that. Uncertainty is something we all face, but especially in innovation. And how you deal with that uncertainty, and how if you understand kind of the thought processes that are riddled with heuristic biases that are problematic, it's really very useful, I think, in understanding maybe a way that you could move forward that is not at risk in those same ways. There's uncertainty is uncertainty, and I think you can't dismiss it. There's certain types of things that you can do to get around it. And sometimes the actual strategy itself should be changing from being about predicting something to creating things and actually making things and having more of a reactive, discovery-driven planning process for strategy. And that comes right out of, I think, good psychology and decision science. So there's that, and then there are times where, for my work, I can help designers understand theory from cognitive sciences around, say, cognitive load. Say there's doing things that are hard and understanding like what channels that you don't want to occupy at the same time of the mind, because that'll cause people to have real challenges sort of acting out, doing things. I'd say understanding experience itself, experience strategy, experience design is an important aspect of our work. Well, experience itself is fundamentally, to me at least, it's a psychological phenomenon.
Right.
Because it is personal, but it's something that happens, I'd say, in the mind and the extended mind through the body, and also through groups and social things. The extension, I'd say, of cognition to those groups. So wherever there are ideas that are a bit vague, I try and find a way to tie them to something in psychology, because then I can find traction in it in a way that can extend into a body of research, in a way of thinking, in a way of building out frameworks and actually working with it, as opposed to just being happy with the language as it is. I have a real aversion to overly abstracted and intractable language that's used, I'd say, in more of a positional kind of almost branding way. I need to be able to act on these things. I need to have clients understand what I'm talking about literally, as opposed to like the intent. So I think that's, I find companies have a hard time dealing with people, customers, employees, stakeholders, et cetera. Psychology, I think, is one of the ways of understanding the communication of information about people, the general kind of rules of thumb we have about people. So whether it's social psychology, whether it's developmental psychology, whether it's perception, or decision making, all these are things that I kind of constantly draw from.
Does it surprise you that psychology educations and psychology skills are not seen as much working in strategy and innovation as you'd expect them to be?
Oh yeah, I think this goes back to this idea of specialization that we spoke about earlier. I think the kind of paths people have taken to get into those kinds of roles, at least we'll say for strategy, come out of more, say, well-worn paths. I'm going to study, say, an area of business as an undergraduate, then I'm going to go do management consulting, and then I'm going to go, work in industry for a while, perhaps, or I'm going to go into investment banking, go get the MBA, work for a private equity firm. So in those cases, I don't know if people are necessarily getting the broader base that you need to be able to think about things that maybe don't yet make sense in those fields, because there's a lot of fields that are, I'd say, the application of other fields. So marketing is kind of part economics, large part psychology, but the world's changing, and what you're using for the basis of that input in psychology is actually pretty critical, because the world of psychology has changed. The world of, so you could be implicitly using old theories by learning from another area like marketing again, that hasn't yet incorporated the new knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to understand something, being able to read the work in its kind of original text,
Mm-hmm.
And understanding its native terms,
Mm-hmm.
I think is critically valuable to doing innovation, because we're working in at that edge where things don't necessarily have meaning yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to bring other perspectives.
Right.
So I would say that it's kind of a missing ingredient. Luckily, in my case, I wouldn't have probably been able to do this if I didn't have the other background in economics.
Yeah.
So I would say it was just a luxury for me to be able to study things that were as broad as that, because I was in a program that allowed me to do that. But with time, I'd say the economics has been useful at times, and the psychology other times, or the MBA or the Master's in Science and Technology, Commercialization. So it's a pastiche, it's a bricolage. You're always pulling from these different areas, and being able to do that quickly, effectively, and communicate that with people so they can use those same kind of perspectives, very valuable. But I do wish there were more people who had, I'd say, an understanding, at least more implicit understanding of psychology in certain areas and strategy.